I first met Ian, or at least saw him, probably around 1990 in person. I'd always seen him in the magazines in Australia and seen him in the Rocky Sale Quarter Horse book, and I'd heard of him, but I never really got to meet him until I was probably 16, something like that. Gordon and I would go to different horse shows, and I would always watch Ian because Ian was, I couldn't tell what he was doing, but I knew he was doing stuff different from everybody else. I knew his horses rode different from everybody else's. I knew he won lots of the things he competed in. And I just knew that he was doing something different that I wanted to learn. You know, Gordon didn't really do a lot of showing. He did in the early years, but when I met him, he'd kind of retired from that and became more of a clinician. And Ian kept competing. So the skill set that Gordon showed me was more on foundation horsemanship, colt starting, problem solving, you know, really good foundation stuff. And then what I learned from Ian was more geared towards competition and showing and more advanced types of horsemanship. And to me, I think I'd have a big hole in my program if I just learnt what Ian taught me and not what Gordon did, or learnt what Gordon taught me and not what Ian did. I think the method that you see today of down under horsemanship comes together because I basically took both guys' programs and I put them together and joined them as one, you know. Ian's horses were just so much lighter and bridly and more broke than everybody else's. His horses would stop deeper and turn better and just look far more finesse than everybody else. And so one of the greatest lessons that I learned from Ian when I went to work for him, he said something to me that I never forgot. I was struggling with a colt and I was probably pulling too hard on its mouth and not having good feel and timing. And he walked over and he said, "A horse will never get any lighter than the first amount of pressure you put on him." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "If you pick up with 5 ounces of pressure, it'll always take 5 ounces of pressure to get him to give. Try picking up with 1 ounce or half an ounce of pressure. Then if you need to add 10 pounds of pressure or 20 pounds of pressure, do it. But start with the lightest amount of pressure and then increase that pressure if needed and then release that pressure when he does what you want." So that got me thinking about how light am I first approaching? Can I just put the calf of my jeans on? Can I just barely touch the horse with my fingertips? How light am I asking? Because whatever pressure that I'm asking with, he will never get any lighter than that. So be careful about your first initial ask because that's as good as it's going to get. And that really got me thinking about that, and hopefully it'll help you think about your horsemanship.